Welcome back to Cottage Designs by Erin, where today we're going to learn how to hand embroider a linen towel. Before we start that project, if you are interested in the dinosaur quilt behind me, you can click on my video links and you will see it in the thumbnails. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started on our new project. Let me turn the camera to my hands now. Okay, so this is a linen towel that is vintage. If you're interested in buying a product like this, go to eBay and type in stamped linens or vintage stamped linens. You can also type in Paragon, Vogart. I'm trying to think what other brands made them, and either one of those brands will work. Okay, I buy a lot of my stamped linens at antique stores, thrift shops, estate sales, yard sales, and then of course eBay. So this is one that I started that I never finished. In order to do this project, you're going to need a hoop, embroidery needles, embroidery scissors. These are Friskers. You can find them at Walmart. And then you're going to need any kind of embroidery floss. I'm going to show you my mother load of embroidery floss. I have this huge, enormous hat box of floss that I've been keeping for years. All right, so you're going to get your hoop and sandwich in the material. This is a 6-inch hoop. I prefer the metal spring action hoops, but I think the only couple ones that I have are at work because I brought them to show my students how to embroider. I like those because they always get the tension right the first time. Well, try this again. Popped right off there. I think there's something incredibly feminine and chic about embroidered linens. They're just so pretty, and they just remind me of times when my family's embroidered, and I don't know, it makes me happy. Okay, so here is our starting point. I've already threaded my thread. Now, let's talk about different types of thread. If you notice, this is thicker than a regular DMC floss. This is a regular DMC floss. One is thicker than the other. The higher the number the floss, the finer the thread is. So this is probably a 3 or 5 because it's very thick. This is definitely going to be a 3. And I'm sorry, a 5. And then the more you go up, the thinner the thread gets. So part of the reason I abandoned ship on this project is because I started off with thicker thread and I wasn't used to that. I was used to regular DMC and I wasn't sure if I liked it or not. But now I've decided that I do like it, and so I'm going to go ahead and continue on. Okay, so you're going to poke a hole in the back after your needle has been threaded, and you're going to make a very, very, very fine little knot so that you don't pull it through. You're trying to make the back of the project look nice and neat. So you don't want a big bunch of threads being pulled, halfway across the design. You don't want everything to be wadded up, frayed out. You want to try to keep it secure. So here's our first little knot. So then now all you're going to do is you're going to follow the design on the project. And in this case, I'm doing a back stitch. So how do I know how big to make my stitches? I really don't, but whatever size you start with, that's what you need to continue with. They all need to be uniform in size. You do not want your threads twisted. You want everything to be nice and flat. and you want some consistency. And this is basically it. It's very relaxing. It's a nice way to introduce little pops of color into your home. I would hand wash this probably, or at the very least wash it and then let it air dry, because linen will wrinkle and it will also draw up. You can still find a lot of vintage embroidery kits. If you're interested in doing crewel, which is a thicker type embroidery, very thick embroidery wool floss, eBay has all kinds of kits for that. I would strongly recommend the Elsa William kits. They have the highest quality of thread, but her kits are extremely taxing, and you will be working on the same project for probably years, because it's not going to be a thing you get finished quickly. I'm to the point now in my life where I like the immediate gratification of finishing a project somewhat quickly. I mean, I'll work on something for a couple months, but I'm probably not going to go more than that. So as you can see, this goes very fast. All right. So that's basically it. You just need, let me turn this up. You just need the appropriate materials, which includes your hoop, needles, and embroidery floss, and whatever linen piece you're working on. I hope you learned something from my video. Please stop back by for more.